Hey, good morning everyone. Damon here. Wanted to bring you another video. I just want to say thank you so much for all of the positive feedback from the last whiteboard lesson that we did the other day. I received a lot of emails, a lot of questions, and I was hopefully able to help answer some of those for you guys. But this is such a great tool for me to be able to use to be able to help you during this time to where even if you're not getting in any tennis right now, at least you're learning and getting more of the smarts down so that when you are able to jump back out on court, you're able to apply some of these things for you and your doubles partner. This is gonna help out a lot. So, guys, here's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about cutting off the middle 50% of the time. Once again, you're the server's partner or the returner's partner. If 80% of the shots are going to go cross court, you want to cut off the middle 50% of the time. Now, this is not a poaching play, okay? This is not a poaching video yet. This is playing in position A, the way that we worked on the other day, and being aggressive 50% of the time. So let me get right to it and explain exactly what I'm talking about. So if the serve is struck, okay, and the ball is, let's say it's 3 feet away from your opponent right before they make contact. By this point, they should be in their backswing, okay? By the time they're in their backswing and right before they start to come forward with their racket, this is where you can shine, okay? This is where it makes things easier. If you know 80% of the time the return or ground stroke is going to end up going back cross court, it doesn't mean to camp out and cover the line the majority of the time. Okay, even if you're ready and you're aggressive, you're not going to be able to be in a very good position to cut off the higher percentage play. They're more than likely going to try to go cross court. What does that mean for you? 50% of the time, you are going to shift towards the middle to do your best to cut this shot off. Now, this type of ball, look at the return. Going cross court, going cross court. This type of play can get cut off from this person when you're a little closer to the center line. Think about it. If this person stays here, this type of ball going right here is going to be very difficult to get. That usually means your partner might be having to hit a backhand. We don't want our partner to have to hit a backhand after they serve, okay? And if they're on the outside, we don't want to have them hit a forehand after they serve because you should be cutting off more of the middle. Now, let me explain this again. Serve is hit, return is about to go cross court, okay, at least 80% of the time it does. When you are this person, the timing of it, 50% of the time you're going to stay here and you're going to cover a little bit more of the line, okay? You got to mix it up. The other 50% of the time, you're going to shift towards the middle right before they make contact. Now, a lot of times people will say, Damon, I cover middle and they go down the line on me quite a bit. A lot of times that means that you are moving too soon. If you are here, okay, and the serve is being struck, the serve bounces, right at the bounce, if you start to work your way towards the middle, you've gone too soon. They see that. That is usually a lot easier of an adjustment to go down the line when they see you move that early. So the way that you want to do that is right before they make contact. I'm going to say 3 feet. Okay, it happens quick. You'll have to figure out the timing on it. Right as they start to come through with their racket, that's when it's a quick hop too, guys. It's nothing crazy. It's a quick shift. Boom. It's a quick hop diagonally towards the middle. Okay? They're committed to their shot already of going cross court. A lot of times you can pick that off. And if you can't pick it off, that means that they've done a very good job of hitting a good cross court angle. Okay? At the same time, a lot of times they won't see you move because you've timed it so well. But even if they do see you move and they try to adjust and alter their stroke at the very last second, a lot of times they end up missing that shot. And what are you doing? All you're doing is being active. 50% of the time, cover the middle. If 80% goes cross court, 50% of the time here, mix this in too, guys, okay? You got to play around with this a little bit. It's almost like gambling, Okay, it is. It's a gamble. You are going to bet that this next shot is going to go cross court. You make that move. If they had already committed to going down the line, you're probably going to lose the point, okay? But what message does that send to our opponents? It sends the message that you are going to be very active at the net, which is going to put even more pressure on them to have to hit good shots cross court. You're going to generate a lot of the errors. Now, I would recommend this type of play. We're still focusing more on the one up, one back for right now. This is probably going to be more of an advanced 4-0, advanced 4-5 type play, depending on where you're at. So if you're doing the one up, one back, and you have good legs and you're able to do these movements, you got to be quick in order to be able to do this. This is how you do it, okay? This is how you do it. Now watch what happens here, okay? So 80% of the time, serve is hit, right? Serve is hit. And let's say you decide to cut in towards the middle and cut off that angle. By the way, I had some questions about, Damon, how close do I get to net? And that's a very good question. We don't want to be on top of the net because then, you flirt around with that net too much and you can go over on accident. And then our opponents are throwing a fit and we all know how that can end up, playing out. So I would say no more than 3 feet away from the net. Okay, I think a racket length is a good place. So if you can touch the tape with the tip of your racket. Generally, I think that's a good area to be in because you still got to give yourself time. I love how I still like shadow, like I'm just so used to it. But you still got to give yourself a little room to be able to step into it, right? So if you're trying to step in but you're on top of the net's going to get in the way. So I would say give yourself about a 3-foot buffer. That's going to help out a lot. So back to what I was saying though. If this person hits a good return back cross court. And this is just the time that you've guessed and gambled and went towards the middle to cover it. But if they end up hitting a good cross court ball, remember our last video, okay? Position A, position B. I've seen a lot of videos out there where they're talking about a triangular type move. That's what this is. We want to try to get here 50% of the time. The other 50% of the time, I'm going to do this. 50%. The other 50% of the time, we're going to hold our ground right here in position A, okay? So now, when we're in position, we're in position A, we shoot out to guess 50%. They end up hitting that ball too well cross court. This is where you resort back to B. This is where that triangle comes into play, okay? So as soon as that ball passes, you can't get to it, you're backing up to position B. This person's going to come forward. We'll talk about that in just 30 seconds. You move back. You hope that your partner can get it back cross court, okay, so that you can move back into position A. And then it starts all over again. Maybe this time around, you hold your ground. Maybe you decide to cover line. Either way, when you're out here covering a little more line, staying in position A, or you're shooting out to position, this isn't even a position, but you're shooting out and guessing that 50% of the time when that ball, you're trying to cut off that ball to go cross court, that helps out so much. And what does it do? It keeps you engaged, it keeps you looking for the ball, and it keeps the pressure on your opponent, okay? 50% of the time, guys, you're going to try to cut back to there, cut off that ball. If you cannot get to it, you're going to back up to position B, okay? Now, when the ball is back cross court, you're here and you can't get to it, you are moving back, correct? We all know that. Ball's here. Now this person, it's the same thing, guys. So this is the same movements whether you're on the service side or the receiving side. The only difference is you have to start at the service line when your team is receiving. You're more defensive. A, B, 50% here. The other 50% right here. So as you move in, you're following the ball, right? You're moving into position A 50% of the time, guys. Right before this person makes contact, 3 feet within, but when they start in their forward momentum, bam, cut towards the middle, okay? Cut towards the middle so that you're in a better position to kick that, to pick that ball off. Boom, ball goes right at the feet at your opponent. The other 50% of the time, hold your ground. You could even do a little fake this way and then coming back this way. Once again, this takes a lot of movement. Okay, this is a lot of movement. You got to have some good legs to be able to make these types of movements, okay? But it's all about the timing on when you end up doing that. And for me, I always try right before contact. 3 feet right before they make contact, or when they're in their backswing and right before they start their forward momentum. That's when you make that shift. That's when you can fake and then cut back. But either way, it's going to keep them off balance, guys. And once again, it's a gamble, right? It is a gamble. We can do the A to B, which works out really well. But if we just stay in that position, even though we're ready, we're going to be able to pick stuff off that's more on our side of the court. But if you're looking to really improve your level as a player, this has nothing to do with technique. This has everything to do with the positioning that you're on the court. And if we can take this time to get better and see the visual effect of it, it's going to give you a lot more court sense when you're actually out there. And when you're this person here, we all know that if we're serving or returning, we love playing with a partner that's active, looking to cut shots off, okay? You're in position A, 50% of the time you're going to cut out to here. The other 50% of the time you're going to hold your ground here. You choose. You choose. You get a read for your opponent. You're a smart player. Start to think a little bit more on when you can take those risks. Every now and then, 50% here, 50% hold your ground. Very simple. When you are here, if that ball does pass you again, bam, that's when you're back in position B. This person's moving forward. And then all you're doing is following the ball like a magnet. So, guys, I really, really hope that this video helps you out just to give you a little bit more of an idea of how to move when you're at the net, okay? When you're at the net, it's so important to be able to put yourself in a good position. One last thing that I did want to add, this is really important here, okay, is, I know everything I say is important, right? So, as soon as this ball, okay, so the serve is hit, your eyes here, once the serve is in, your eyes are right here across the net on your opponent, okay? Because you're going to be able to get a better idea here if they're going to move and if they're going to pick this ball off. You're going to get a better idea by watching them if the shot is cross court, okay? You will be so much quicker in this position when your eyes are focused here. Do not watch your partner hit the ball, okay? If that return is struck cross court, it's going to give you the green light much sooner. When you're focused here, it's going to give you the green light much sooner to turn and push into position A. At the same time here, as soon as that ball passes you, boom, you are not turning around and looking at your partner hit. You are backing up to position B. Your eyes are across from you on this person. Our reactions are so much quicker when we keep our eyes forward. Why do we watch this person coming in? Because they have the first opportunity to hit the ball, okay? So guys, I'll explain a little bit more on that next time. I just wanted to throw that in there because we're so focused on these two positions. I hope this helps you. Ask me any questions that you guys may have. I've been calling people up on the phone and we've been going over it together. So guys, use me right now. I'm your head pro, so use me. I'll put my phone number down, send me a text. We can FaceTime it, whatever it may be. Let's really use this time as best as we can to really get ourselves better so that when it is time to jump back out on the court, we're ready to go. So, guys, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Hopefully you're starting your morning off on the right foot and enjoying a little strategy over some coffee. Thanks again, guys. Have a good one.